Hello, everyone. My name is Jim Farmer. I'm the festival director of Out on Film, Atlanta's LGBTQ film festival. Again, this year we're having a spring mini festival, and one of the great films that we're showing is The Judgment. I'm going to read a brief description of the film, and then we're going to talk to the filmmaker. I'm very excited about this. Mo, an American Egyptian gay man, visits Egypt for a family emergency, accompanied by his boyfriend. The couple pretends to be friends in order to stay safe in this very homophobic environment. But coming back to Egypt already leaves Mo in anxiety and unease. Someone knows Mo's secret, and they leave him witchcraft at his door as a sort of threat and shame. Mo, who pretends to be a modern American atheist and free from the superstitions of his religion and culture, falls into terror after stepping into the witchcraft. I'm very excited to introduce the filmmaker of this film, Marwan Mokbel. Thanks so much.
Hello. Hi, Jim.
It was a pleasure to meet you in Berlin recently. So
Yes, it was good to meet you.
thanks so much for joining us today. Well, this is a film that all of our programmers like so much. I cannot wait to share this with our audiences. But first of all, just tell me a little bit about the decision to make this.
There was a lot of attack after 2020 on just the gay community in Egypt after
Mm,
what happened with Sarah Higazi, and it provoked for the first time. It was a topic that no one talked about, but it provoked for the first time a lot of conversation about this topic and social media and everywhere that it triggered a lot of liberals in general and a lot of for someone who Sarah Higazi just uh, got arrested after raising the rainbow flag in Egypt, and then she took her own life after she left Egypt in Canada. So after taking her life, there was very little sympathy with her story, and it was kind of the viral story for like 2 weeks or so,
okay.
which affected a lot of people negatively. A lot of people who were shocked by. So yeah, so that's kind of what inspired the film because it's a film in its heart, a religious film about self-hate,
Hmm.
uh, in a way. So even the backdrop in the film is this Sarah Higazi event that is inspiring this self-hate within that culture that does
Yeah.
not accept you.
You that leads perfectly into my next question. I mean, this is a film that's very scary, but it also deals with a lot of themes, religion, homophobia, self-hate. Can you sort of talk about what all Mo is dealing with during the course of the film?
Yeah, I think what I was trying to do is kind of make this a kind of one issue of he is dealing with a spiritual issue
Yeah.
of God, of Islam specifically, but God not accepting him, even though he is a religious person.
Hmm.
So, and that umbrella, I think a lot of things come with that, right? His relationship with his mother, his relationship with his own people, with his culture, with his love interest with so all of that falls into him accepting himself and thinking that uh God hates him. So yeah, so that kind of was the concept, to make religion kind of the source of horror in the film, because if God doesn't accept you, if God doesn't love you, then you're probably on the other side, and that other side will be the source of of horror until he kind of is able to make peace somehow with both sides of the situation.
Exactly. As I was watching this film, I really appreciate it because it's not a film that I've seen before. I mean, this is a completely different story, and it deals with a conflict that I think really hasn't been explored in some other LGBTQ films that I've seen. Can you sort of talk about that?
Yeah, like I thought this film was particularly made in response to this Sarah Higazi
Hmm.
issue that fired up. So I, at the time, really wished to make a film that speaks to everyone who is religiously conflicted that way.
Hmm.
And so I wanted to I wanted to make it a little bit different from, because now there's kind of an LGBT genre of like indie drama, realistic. So I
Hmm.
wanted to kind of, I wanted it to kind of be more commercial looking, at least. I wanted it to be a, a film that is centered about the genre horror mixed up with like with religion, more than leaning toward the the known LGBT genre, indie drama genre. Um, but yeah, I think. Sorry, I got a little lost.
That's
What
okay.
was the question again?
You pretty much answered it. We were just talking about the fact that this is very unique and that the struggles and conflict here are ones I haven't really seen addressed, much in other films, LGBTQ themed films.
Yeah, because also we're used to seeing films about, which is not a problem at all. I think we should be seeing films about victims of society. But I think what I try to do here is, yes, of course, he's a victim in many ways of society, but the story is not about that. The story is about him. It's about he's a victim of his own beliefs. It's not that he's in a family that's religious. It's the problem is that he is religious. He believes in all of these things. So I think that's kind of what I try to make the film about. It's
Sure,
just him, the problem.
sure. Um, for the Middle Eastern gay community, there's a lot of restraints right now on conflicts and arrest and murder, and it's refreshing to see this. And I think that young gay people kind of deserve this. Can you sort of talk about those struggles and why this is important for people who may be gay to see this film?
Yeah, we also, before making the film, we've tried to reach out to a lot of the gay community here in Egypt and send the script to and have them read and
Yeah.
ask what needs to be changed, and it was kind of agreed upon that there needs to be a happy ending because there's just lots of kind of darkness everywhere, and we're talking about a pretty dark concept. So the happy ending was a kind of like a demand by everyone, and there was kind of there were a lot of debate on how much to talk about Sarah Hijazi,
Hmm.
because are we, yeah, like, do we, yeah, there was a lot of debate about that and about, um, yeah, I'm sorry, I can't remember exactly everything that went on because now that's 3 years ago. But yeah, we've had a lot of research also in people's experiences with trying to, how do you say it, become straight?
Hmm.
What's it called?
Conversion
Yeah,
therapy.
yeah, and what happened with people and their experiences with doctors or with religious entities, which there's unfortunately too many stories about that, and too many stories of this going absolutely wrong, and uh, uh, and really bad advice. People having Doctors having people out themselves to the community, and doctors advising them and bringing them women to sleep with, causing lots of issues. So yeah, and at the end we kind of chose what the story that was kind of more going along with ours.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, but we've kind of done our work with
Sure.
that.
Can you talk about being a filmmaker in Egypt right now in the filmmaking community?
Well, I'm still not in the filmmaking community. I am making my first film in Egypt now,
Okay.
my first kind of commercial film in Egypt now. So yes, it is conflicting with this film and with the film, like with being an Egyptian filmmaker now or stepping into that industry. Um, But yeah, it is difficult, and we're trying to find what is how far can we go into
Mhm.
being kind of free and talk freely in my kind of US career. Uh, and what's the line, and I'm trying to figure all this out, and maybe it's
Exactly.
miscalculating, but
Yeah.
but that but yeah.
In terms of inspirations, what are some other films or maybe directors who have inspired you?
Well, of course, Get Out, for example, is a huge inspiration because it's the first
Mm.
time that it's a very clear use of genre for social issue metaphor,
Yeah.
and the Babadook was a great inspiration as
Oh yeah,
well
I love
because
that
also
film.
they use genre and to talk about a psychological issue very directly as well. So I think we were kind of between those, and there's another Iranian film called In the Shadows, which is also this was kind of our biggest also reference visually because it happens in Iran,
Mhm.
and it also takes like a social, like women's issues story within horror genre. So yeah, those were kind of our three, I think, biggest
Okay, great.
references.
Final question. Just tell us a little bit about what's next for this film and about some of the things that you're working on right now.
So we're going on to festivals now, and we are exploring what our next steps will be in sales, and that's why I was in Berlin for like the
Yeah.
market. But also even sales. This is a very tricky film. It has been tricky from the very start during casting because even casting was a mess because you don't know the people who you're gonna meet, where they stand on this issue. So you have to like take them out to dinner and kind of chat, and before even talking about the film, see where they stand, and then people are scared that what would happen when the film comes out. So in the end, we had to film in Lebanon and not Egypt. So this film has always been an issue, but now it's also an issue with the sales because how far can we get this film seen, viewed? How far can we? So it's been a huge debate since day one, and but it's gotten made, so that's good. But yeah,
Oh,
so we'll see what the next steps are. I don't know. I'm kind of watching with everyone else what happens.
great. Congratulations. The film The
Thank
Judgment plays at Allen Films Spring Mini Festival on Thursday, March 21st at 7 p.m. at the Midtown Arts Cinema. Our tickets are available at the theater or online. Marwan, it's been a pleasure speaking to you. Congratulations. And we look forward to working with you again in the future and look forward to seeing what you come up with next. Thanks so much.
you much. Thank you, Jim.
Yeah.